Right, I am going to get going. So, I've been told everybody can hear me and everybody can see me. So I think we can get going. More people will probably join as we go along, but that's a good amount of you on. So I guess we'll get started. So everybody, welcome to today's webinar. It's not just going to be me. We're going to be bringing in a few different people today. And today's webinar is called the Barrel Roundtable. You can see Juan looking a bit doubtful there in the image, but we're going to cast away all those doubts. Yeah, you can see his look there. Starting off with me, for people that know me, or for people who don't know me, I went and met another person. My name is George Koutsakis. I am the founder of Barrel Global. I've got a few more companies. I've got Coach Built Whiskey, which is a Scotch whiskey brand I have with a Formula One champion called Jensen Button. We have a marketing agency, which our awesome marketing team helps us with all this great stuff and social media, PR. I've got a great team over there, and they do a lot of the design and things we do within Barrel Global. We have Multiverse, which is a fun kind of comic book and single cask whiskey brand that I write the stories of the comics. We bottle them. Every bottle comes with a comic. And then we have In Barrel, that a lot of you I'm sure will know, which is kind of like the tequila arm of Barrel Global. Since we've gotten into agave, we thought we'd add a cool little agave there into the Barrel Global sphere, if someone hasn't kind of realized what the logo is. So today's agenda is, first of all, I'm going to give you all an update for Barrel Global, because I feel that every time we do one of these webinars, we tend to bring people in from the distilleries we work with and different experts, but we don't always give a big overview of what we're kind of up to at Barrel Global, which I'm sure a lot of you would like to hear. So I'm going to give you one of those. We're going to talk about distillery partners, kind of what our goal today. I'll delve deeper into it, but it's basically for the first time ever to hear directly from our clients. So it's not just us telling you, and it's not our emails or our social media. You're actually going to hear from real people that have went through the entire process with us. Everybody's in a different part of their journey, which I think is going to be really fun for you guys. Some of them are building brands. Some of them are just, entering and dipping their toes. Some of them are in tequila. Some of them are in bourbon. But they all have fantastic stories. And honestly, after this, I'd like to do this more regularly and let our clients talk directly to other people that have some doubts or want to know a bit about what's going on. So based on the success of this first one, which it seems like a lot of people have came on, we'll be doing this again. We're going to talk about that, then we're going to go over some questions. If you have any questions during, just send them in here and I can see them. There haven't been a lot of people that have sent in questions before, so we're obviously going to prioritize them, and then once we get through them, we'll go through any questions that are asked during the webinar. So let's delve in. Now, an update from us. There's been a bit of chatter like I'm sure a lot of you have seen, and we've seen in the other webinars we've done, that there's a bit of a downturn in the market. There's some things going on in the bourbon industry. Some of the big boys are cutting down staff, production. So I'd like to give you guys an update on Barrel Global and how we are doing. So in full honesty, as a company, I'm very, very happy with where we are. We started 3 years ago, back when distilleries didn't know what we were doing and didn't want to sell us stock. I remember being, starting out and trying to persuade these distilleries to let me buy barrels from them. And now we're in an amazing position. I would say, the way I see it, a leader in the market that we're in. The business has evolved since we started, but it's gone from strength to strength, and I'm really happy with where we are right now. Now, where we are with Barrel Global, historically, we've always sold a lot of new fill barrels, aged barrels, but I feel this year we've heavily went into expanding more of our bottling department. So it's always been the goals of the people that have bought new fill barrels. We help them exit those barrels by offering a lot of bottling services, building a lot of brands for people, for hospitality groups, for venues, and that's something we've heavily delved into this year. Our team has figured out the logistics and found distribution partners in many, many different states across the US, meaning that people that do bottle their casks, we can pass through the bottles and get them to them in order to be able to retail them, which we'll delve into with one of our clients that's going to be speaking. We've really ironed out the bottling department so that it's seamless. We hired Murray Harwich this year, that I'm sure a lot of you know, who's been amazing in kind of shaping the bottling and customer experience departments of Barrel Global. You know, I feel that we've really ironed out the logistics. We give people a very clear picture of what it means to bottle their casks and a very clear cost structure of what it means to bottle their cask. So yeah, that's a department we've very much developed this year, and I'm very happy to see that, because obviously, as we always say, these barrels need to end up in bottle. That's the end journey of a barrel, and we want to have as many clients and be working with as many venues and brands, so that a lot of our clients that do buy their barrels that don't choose to bottle them themselves, we give them exit strategies and give them avenues that they can explore to resell their aged barrels to people that want to bottle them. So that is something that's been great for us this year, and it's only growing, and we're very happy to see that growing. The second thing we did this year, and late last year, is gotten heavily into tequila. We've been historically doing a lot of bourbon. Tequila has been going great for us. We've actually got a few clients here that are going to talk about their experience in tequila. So basically just ironing out and copying the kind of structure that we have in bourbon, taking that to tequila, which was something brand new for our distillery partner, El Mexicano, and ironing all that out, making sure the infrastructure is there for bottling, for bespoke bottling, different casks, different finishes, different types of wood, just getting basically the great experience we give people in bourbon, doing that in tequila. And again, our team with Juan at the forefront, who's my CEO, really ironed that out, really found the way and like managed, kind of got through all the regulations in Mexico and found how to do this like legally and correctly. And that's been a great expansion of our company. Beyond that, new departments we're looking to launch as we're going to be entering tourism much more heavily with Barrel Global. So we're developing a full tourism arm. We already do a lot of tours for our customers that come visit their barrel, touch the barrel. A few of our clients can talk on that. But the goal is to develop an actual website, an arm of running advertising, having tour guides that we collaborate with, partnerships. We already have partnerships with the distilleries, but more VIP tours, more visits, and just an amazing experience in Kentucky beyond our own clients. So that's something that we're heavily going for. And another very exciting part that I can't talk too much about yet is Barrel Global is developing. Wait, how can I tell you this without telling you this? That's a hard one. We're developing our own, I guess, brand partnerships with some very high profile brands, whether that's in entertainment, in streaming and kind of household brands. We are developing a department within Barrel Global that we develop brands for said partners. And we're going to be announcing the first one very soon. It's a very, very large, well-known brand across the world. And this, again, will be an exit strategy for us. Apart from bottling casks for our own clients, we will be doing a lot of these brand partnerships that we technically own. So we would be buying back a lot of these barrels from our own customers and bottling under this brand partnership. So this is very, very exciting. That's something I've been spearheading. And yes, it's going to be announced in the next few weeks. So stay tuned for that. Now, looking at buying stock and just distillery partners, honestly, this year has been one of the most exciting in my eyes in terms of distilleries partners. We signed with Old Elk, which is a fantastic distillery with like distribution across all 50 states. We signed with New Riff Distilling, which historically hadn't done barrel sales with naming rights, and we've got a great working relationship with them now. As I said, we signed El Mexicano Distillery, and then our existing partners, we've got very close relationships with Bardstown Bourbon Company, Castle and Key, Green River, Journeyman as well as a new one that we signed. And just, as I say, I think some people look at this bourbon downturn in a bad way. I look at it as in a fantastic way. It's opening the eyes of a lot of these distilleries that historically didn't want to sell barrels and allowing them to kind of be more open and do things differently, which works great for us because we've always aim to work with brands that really heavily focus on their own bottlings and growing their own brands, and then our clients can really get behind that as opposed to working with massive, contract distillers that don't really develop their own brands and they're just doing a lot of the same thing. And honestly, I think the people that are on this call are probably like in the inner circle. We have just recently signed a fantastic new distillery. I don't know if I'm going to get into trouble for talking about this, but we just signed a fantastic distillery called Wilderness Trail. We've got a small amount from barrels from them. It's taken like months and months to do it because we wanted to get naming rights of these barrels, and they haven't historically done that. So this is a huge thing for us. We're going to be announcing it next month, but you guys can get ahead of the curve. I don't know if Charles and Juan are going to scream at me for this, but you guys are here. So I do consider you guys like in the inside circle, I suppose, and very into the brand for being here. So that's a new distillery that I'm ecstatic about because it's taken a long time and, you know, owned by Campari, fantastic distillery. So again, you know, some people might say there's a downturn in the industry. We're looking at it a different way. We're doing things differently. We're developing new parts of the business. We're starting our own bottling, which I said we're going to announce soon. The tourism arm, the tequila, a lot of bottlings, you know, bespoke bottlings across the entire US, selling to restaurants, venues, real estate agencies, casinos, everything. So that's a lot of what we have been doing this year. We're very excited about it. And that moves us on to today. So today, we're going in a different direction to what we usually do. And we want to speak to clients that have basically been with us. They've went through the whole process. I promise I'm not going to put words in their mouth. And we're going to let them tell their very own story. Now, some of them I know, some of them I don't know. You know, our first speaker I do know. We went and visited him in Arkansas. But some of them I don't, so I'm actually quite excited to meet these guys that I've heard about, you know, from our team and our daily meetings. So I'm very excited to get this going. And without further ado, I'm going to bring in our first client, which is Matt Fuller. Matt, I'm going to hunt you down here on this list and bring you in. I really hope I do this correctly. Okay, Matt, make a contributor. Like I've sent you a request, Matt, if you're out there. I think you're muted. If you might be talking, I don't know. Hey, Matt.
Can you hear me?
There you go.
Okay, all right. Sorry about that, little technical glitch.
Long time no see.
Yeah.
It's been a while since Arkansas. God, that was the Arkansas Derby. I feel like that was ages ago when we were there.
That was back in March.
I think first things first, I mean, everybody can't talk on the call, but it was Matt's birthday yesterday, I hear. So happy birthday. He also has a new addition to his family, I believe, called Truffle.
Yes. English cream mini dachshund. Just got her yesterday. Yep.
Was that your birthday present?
Yes, it was. Yeah. It was planned out though. So pretty excited about that.
That was Charles, by the way. I'm not stalking you. Right. So I guess we can delve right in. So for everybody on this call, Matt Fuller is a restaurant owner in Arkansas. He has one of the best restaurants. I'd say the best restaurant in Arkansas. We ate there. Fantastic steaks, fantastic seafood, a really great place in town. And I mean, you can tell us more of the story, but I guess you wanted to make your own brand. Do you want to maybe just tell us a little bit about you and kind of what was kind of the original concept that you wanted to create with this, with your own bourbon?
Sure. Well, first off, yes, I do have a restaurant. I appreciate the accolades there. We have a bourbon bar with about 500 selections now, so it's quite large. A couple of years ago, my general manager introduced me to Barrel Global, and I was just intrigued that I could get into the bourbon industry in a different kind of light. Really didn't have a whole lot of aspirations for much. I bought a couple new fill barrels and just kind of looked into the Barrel Global and what you were doing, and had an opportunity to buy a aged Laws barrel, and we carried that. And I, was kind of fascinated. Okay, well, maybe we can do something with this. Hadn't really thought about it a whole lot until that point. And then really my goal and my goal's been to bring in brands that actually highlight hot springs in a positive light. And also then have a marketing side for the restaurant as well. So when I first bought the barrel, I wasn't really in a position to immediately bottle it. So I sat on it for about a year. and kind of honed in on what I wanted to do. One of the things, and here I'll put it in front of the camera, see if you can see it here. We have a local water source called Mountain Valley. Hot Springs is known for its water source. So from the initial inception of the project, it was to utilize some local water in a bourbon and then kind of create a brand from that. We received permission actually from Mountain Valley Water to use their water and their name on the label. And, we were able to get some water up to Kentucky to proof a barrel there. So that was kind of the process to make that happen.
Yeah. And I mean, I've heard it turned out fantastic. I mean, I think Juan told me that today we've put in a submission to the World Whiskies Awards for your whiskey to kind of see, because I know Murray from our team, who's like a, massive whiskey, you met him, obviously, you saw the bottles that he brought, but he loved he said it was fantastic the way it turned out.
Well, we've had a lot of fun with it. We did a launch party here, had great response from customers. And, being a small town, we have a lot of locals that come here and really are supportive. And they also are very blunt. So if it was not a good product, they would have let us know. And the local stores that have it are all sold out. So, right now we're the only ones that have any of that barrel left. And I wanted really all of it for the restaurant. But the laws in Arkansas aren't such to set up to where you can actually have a private label. So we had to offer it to retail, and they bid on it and took some of the product, and now they're all sold out within just a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I heard it. I think Juan told me it sold out in hours or something. No,
kind of did. Yeah, as soon as we had the launch party, pretty much all sold out there.
That's fantastic. I mean, I remember coming to Arkansas, and I could see how packed the place was and all the people, but I didn't even expect it to fly that fast. That's like a full barrel in a few hours is quite remarkable.
To be real honest with you, I was a little bit disappointed because I was wanting to keep all the juice for myself to sell through the restaurant. But that's okay. I've got some alternate plans, so we'll be okay.
Yeah. So I guess, that's fantastic to hear. And honestly, I'm super happy this went like this. As I said, we came to Arkansas and kind of met you guys, and it's great to see that it worked and it went really, really well. I guess going back, what would you say, I guess you were hesitant about when you started, and I guess walk us kind of through how the process worked. I mean, I kind of know, but for people on the call, just because I'm sure there's a lot of people that want to bottle their own cask, but they probably don't really know what the steps are and how it would work. So do you mind taking us a bit through that and maybe some of your...
Sure. The restaurant business is not really all that lucrative unless you really watch your costs. It's a tough business, and we've really been hit by inflation. So anytime I delve into something, I've got to make sure that there's going to be a return on that investment. So that was really one of the big hesitations. A few $1,000s for a barrel and a few $1,000s to bottling. It doesn't sound like a lot of money, but it's not money I just wanted to throw away. So I really want to make sure that process could happen. So that was a little hesitation on my part, because I'd never done anything like this before. So that was definitely something that concerned me. But what I looked at was if I went ahead and bottled it, and by the time I had to purchase the bottles back through a distributor, actually. When I did all that, I still found that I was going to probably 5x my money by selling drinks here with it. And then also had some internal marketing that was beneficial as well. So that hesitation I had was kind of fairly quickly wiped away by the economics of it. And I realized that, it definitely was something that would be able to, see through fruition. I think my other hesitation in the process was I've never done this before. And I had no idea where to even start. And I think that this is one of the things that was very, very helpful with Barrel Global and being involved with you guys, is that at every step of the way, you had the answers or found them out very quickly. So it kind of took that nervousness out of the process.
Yeah.
So that was great from that standpoint.
Yeah, I know the guys, not so much me, but I know Juan and Murray were trying hard to figure out getting into Arkansas, because for people on the call, this hasn't historically been done in Arkansas. I think this was the first kind of.
No, it was absolutely the first. And just so you know, is in our state, our alcohol board, they're not the easiest to work with, and so they definitely didn't make it easy. And it's not that they want to be a roadblock, but when they don't have something that they've experienced before, they really just make sure that it's being done right.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was a lengthy process, like getting the first ever kind of single cask, special release into Arkansas. I do recall the guys were trying hard, and it's amazing that, we all kind of came together to make that happen.
One of the big sticklers here was that Arkansas doesn't allow a private label. And so we kind of we used the wrong terminology to start off with. We did call it a private label, but it was really a custom label that we should have used with them, but that sort of stuck with them. That was kind of what was one of the holdups on the state level. And of course, also being the first to do it. And I was kind of amazed by how the people there at Barrel Global were able to contact the state. I didn't do anything. I just sat back and let you guys handle the process. And it was a huge relief because I've got a business to run. I really didn't have the time to kind of go down that rabbit hole and figure out what needed to happen. And so pretty much at every turn, if you guys didn't know the answer right off the bat, you found somebody that would get the answer, and very transparent. It wasn't like I felt like there was, even when there was holdups, we tried very hard to figure out and pinpoint where those were. And that was very helpful through the whole process.
Yeah. Got a good team with me.
For sure. Yeah.
So I guess, my next question is, what's next? So I guess sold out of this barrel. I know you were just in Kentucky with Murray. So what's your kind of, going from this one barrel of like seeing how it goes and selling at your restaurant, and I understand you want to kind of take it a bit more, not seriously, but kind of look into making this like a bigger thing. So what's your plans now?
Sure. Well, there's a couple different sides of this. First off, Hot Springs is a unique town. We're only 35,000 people, but we get close to 9 million visitors a year. So with a lot of the tourists that come through here, I felt like there's an opportunity for doing some different specific branded items that are Hot Springs related, because people are always looking for, corporate gifts or souvenirs to take home with them. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the things that's kind of like spurred me on to do some other ideas here. I have recently gone ahead and acquired another aged Laws barrel from you guys, because I feel like we're going to probably go ahead and make another run of this. I won't be acquiring those bottles, but there's enough of a demand that I think we can get those dispersed out throughout the state on a retail level. And that's kind of a little small item to do, but we definitely want to go ahead and keep that line going. But there's some other things that we'd like to highlight as well. Hot Springs has a really vibrant art community. I think that there are some opportunities there with some local artists and also some of the local galleries to do some small runs on some very decorative bottles. So I've kind of been talking with Murray recently about that, and we're kind of moving forward with that. I actually am meeting with a local artist on Saturday. So there's some things like that I'm wanting to do. And again, it's to bring some positive light to our city. Hot Springs kind of has a gangster background, and they bring that up a lot because it's kind of a fun, interesting, sordid history. But I do feel like it's better to put a bright light on things. And that was one of the things with the bottle that we just put out. It was called Malvern and Grand, and it was for an area of town that has a real rich African-American culture. And actually, I believe that Murray was handing off one of the bottles to the Black Bourbon Society. Okay. And we had a group here that champions the community and was so impressed and almost in tears that we recognized them in the way that we did. They bought a whole case of bottles just so they could hand out in the community. So, I kind of feel like there's a cultural giving back too that's going to happen, I think, with some of these projects that we're going to do. So, a lot of people are going to win out in this. Yes. So pretty excited about that.
That's amazing, man. I mean, that's fantastic to hear. I'm really, really happy this is all going this way. I guess one last question before we kind of close it off. So, I mean, not putting words in your mouth, but for people on the call, what I guess would you recommend Barrel Global, and why would you do so if you were to recommend us for bottling and creating someone's brand?
Well, really, to put it very simply, you guys got the job done. Yeah, that's a big deal. You know, there's one thing to talk about this stuff, but there's another thing to actually execute and see things through. And, you know, in my business, that's how I stay afloat. I can't have people that just talk and don't do. And I've been very impressed with all of your team. Everybody has worked very hard, and they've been excited about this last project. And again, being the first to kind of do this on a commercial level in the state of Arkansas, I think is a very cool thing to be a part of. And on a personal note then too, you know, you guys came out to visit. That was great to kind of have that interaction with you guys. And then just recently, I visited Kentucky, and Murray was very instrumental in giving a personal touch that I think only he can give. And also, you know, some of the things that he recommended for us to do and go see, I kind of feel like I got a master class in bourbon and saw a different side of it when I was there. And it was really an invaluable experience. So I tell a lot of people about you guys.
No,
in fact, we have a lot of local interest, and I'm very interested in hearing more about the tequilas because we have some local interest in that. Actually, if you're not aware, but not last year's winner, but the year before, the 150th Kentucky Derby winner was called Mystic Dan, and that horse was from Hot Springs. The owner has expressed some interest in doing their own label as well. Yeah, we saw him at the Arkansas Derby. That was awesome. So I think that there's some opportunities here to actually work with some people here that they've seen what I've done, and that they want to help. You know, they want to do that as well. And I know that I can direct them to you guys and even help kind of facilitate that, and they can kind of get their vision seen as well. Yeah, that's amazing. Well, Matt, thanks so much for coming on. Again, I'm super, super happy that this happened. Again, for the fact that we actually came and hung out and saw your vision. I'm glad it's working out. And yeah, to the team out there, Juan, Murray, Charles, you guys have been awesome. And yeah, looking forward to seeing it kind of rip the range expand and see a lot of casks going into that range, different types of water, and having like the single barrel small batch brand of Arkansas. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Yeah. Amazing, man. Okay, I'm going to move you out. If you want to stick around, there's some questions at the end. If not, all good. I know it was your birthday yesterday. You're probably still going with your birthday celebrations. But if you do stick around, there might be some questions at the end that I have if you want to come back on. Sure thing. All right. Thanks so much, Matt. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Right. That was Matt. Fantastic success story in terms of bottling. Now, we are bringing on Brandon, he's on the tequila side of things. Brandon, where are you? Brandon, there we go. Okay, there's a Brandon here. I don't know if it's the correct one, but we'll see. Hey, Brandon, if you're listening, I'm here. Can you hear me all right? I can indeed. Hey, how's it going? Good. Great to meet you finally. We have not met yet. Yeah, great to meet you too. I've heard a lot. I've seen your label. I've heard a lot about you. But yeah, great to finally put a face to the stories. Yeah. So thanks for having me on. So whereabouts are you based? We're up in Michigan. Okay. So I chose to do this outside today. We're getting a second summer, and it's going to be short-lived for us. So figured I'd take advantage of it while I can. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you don't want to miss that. So I guess delving in, we just had a talk about, bottling and bourbon. It was like a single barrel. From what I understand, you've got more of quite a large tequila portfolio with us. I think you're definitely one of our top clients, in terms of volume of tequila owned and barrels. Do you want to maybe take us a little bit through about
kind of what inspired you to kind of build your tequila collection, what your kind of goal is, and how things have been with Barrel Global so far?
Yeah, no, I absolutely. So looking at this originally, the bourbon offering had been around for a while with Barrel Global and even some competing firms. So I had done some research in looking into different companies. But I've always been passionate about the tequila industry. And then I'd had a few consultations. And when the tequila became available, I really became intrigued. And that's when I got on the phone with Charles for a couple different consultations. And he did an excellent job of just making things crystal clear, answering questions. Again, as Matt had mentioned earlier, if there wasn't an answer, he followed up on it very quickly. So there's a confidence level that was achieved very quickly into Barrel Global. Initially, I was looking at it as investing in some barrels just to diversify a portfolio. Seems like a fairly secure investment as well. But I've changed it, and we've changed it since then. The concept of besides what we originally started off to do.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then from what I think from what Juan and Charles have told me, you've got like a team, and not all the barrels are under your portfolio, correct?
Yeah. So that's what it was. It is number one, pulling off what was decided to do is a heavy lift. Yeah. We actually became an importer, a licensed importer, and then with wanting to do distribution in a number of states, it's a heavy lift obtaining all the liquor licenses and all the red tape that it takes to get through. And then there's a lot of compliance on the back end once we get rolling. So being realistic, it takes a team to do that. Of more than one person. So, grabbed a strategic team to work on the execution of obtaining the proper licensing and permits and everything we needed. And then the second part of it's the investment portion of it. Somehow you have to finance it to obtain the inventory that you need. So there's a select group of individuals that it's an opportunity that I felt good about presenting to them. We're moving in the direction of creating a brand. It's an investment opportunity to take a part in it. However, unlike other things like investing in a tech company, which is just, some proprietary intellectual property, maybe there's a real physical, tangible asset on the back end of this that has a number of ways to exit out of it. So that became very attractive for a lot of the people that chose to invest.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I'm heavy trying to sign a few other tequila distilleries. We're speaking of 3 or 4, which means, in the same vein that we have El Mexicano, we can also mention these other distilleries on the bottle. So pretty excited. The same way we have like 10 partners or whatnot for bourbon. I'm super excited to try and figure that out with tequila. It's a bit more complicated there, but it's I think we've found a way. So I guess moving away from the the investment side and the starting a brand. Can you tell us a little bit about your tequila brand? Like, what's the kind of story and the whole concept of it?
Yeah. So in the Midwest, the area that we're at, much like Matt was talking with Hot Springs, Michigan's a heavy tourist area. We have the most freshwater coastline in the world, and obviously that wraps around to Wisconsin. Touches Illinois, Indiana, parts of Pennsylvania. So there's a lot of tourism, and there's also a lot of distilleries in the bourbon and whiskey space. You have vodkas, and a lot of people come here and they get really passionate about the brands here. Okay. Well, tequila is a little unique. Tequila it's a Mexican branded. So what we found unique with this opportunity is the quality of the liquid in the bottle, the product, and then hearing the story about the distillery you partnered with, that you connected us with. They really resonate with Midwest values. So we thought it created a great story to tie in the values, the traditional time-honored values of tequila Mexicano with what we hold as value in Michigan and the surrounding Great Lakes region.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I also seen that you have a few different casks, right? Do you plan to launch like a blanco, a reposado, and then some different types of like wood, or what's kind of your goal in terms of what you're going to launch?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So the different casks, they're being aged in different types of barrels. So that creates a unique flavor profile where you have multiple flavor profiles from different barrels. And then also, the other intriguing thing with the tequila is aged tequila is a newer thing. For years, it was basically Blanco and Reposado. Now, as the Anejos and the extra Anejos gain a lot of popularity, in my mind, they compete with the bourbons. It creates a unique aspect, which is really still new to the market in my mind.
Yeah.
So with the multiple casks and in the different aging processes, it creates quite a product offering we're going to be able to offer to our consumers.
Yeah, man, it's a shame you didn't make it down. Like, you need to, like, when we went on I heard you were gonna like try, but you couldn't make it. That'll be like you'll have.
I had a family event which was unavoidable in the near future, but it was a timing thing. But I can't wait to get there. It looked like a great trip, and I'd love to ride up to that distillery on horseback and sharing some of those tacos and tequila with you.
Yeah, man, if you're passionate now about El Mexicano, just like wait till you actually get there. It's it's a whole other ballpark. And I guess looking at it from your perspective, how has kind of Barrel Global helped to bring your kind of vision of your tequila brand to life, and would you recommend it to anyone? I'm kind of asking everybody this. It's my way of shouting at the team tomorrow. No, I'm joking.
Yeah. Completely, unfiltered. Everyone's been great to deal with. And I'll start right at the beginning. Like I said, Charles got me on the phone for my consultation that I asked for, and quickly eased any anxieties or concerns that I had about moving into this. So he was excellent to deal with, very responsive, and that's all you can ask for. And then when we get into the execution part, as this has evolved, we've been dealing mostly with Juan, who again has been excellent. Like you said, he's figured out all of the logistics, the legal logistics to get it across the border. And I know that's a big push. So the heavy lifting done by Juan made it a lot easier for us. And most recently, we've been introduced to Murray, who's been a nice addition to the team too, when you get into the bottling and the labeling. So it's been a great experience so far, and I'm looking forward to many more.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I guess looking at the product, are you planning to sell this online, or how is this going to be sold?
Yeah, we're within weeks of an initial launch online. Okay. We eventually, plan on being on shelves in stores, but we're starting off online with our initial launch, and that's again weeks away. So excited to get that going. Yeah,
fantastic. Do you want to tell us your name for everybody here on the call if we want to grab a bottle? What's the name of the tequila?
Yeah, go to GreatLakesTequila.com. It's that simple. GreatLakesTequila.com. There'll be a pre-sale out here pretty soon.
There you go. You heard it here first. Get some fantastic tequila from Great Lakes. Well, amazing. I guess, Brandon, thanks so much. Great to meet you again. I really hope we get down to tequila together at some point. And I'm definitely going to try grab a bottle. That's I want to see how it's turned out. Is there anything else you want to touch on before you head off, or?
Yeah, no, I would just tell, again, if you have some prospective clients on here, give it a shot, ask your questions, see how you feel. But if you have the same experience I did, you'll get a comforting feel right away, whether you're into the bourbons or tequila, whatever it is. A lot of great products out there, a lot of great liquids you guys have available.
Yeah, and tequila, we're just getting started, so there's going to be some cool stories coming along. Well, Brandon, thanks so much. As I said to Matt, we've got some questions at the end. If you want to hang around, I can bring you in for a few of them. I know I have some tequila questions. If not, don't feel that you need to stick around, but it'd be good because I think some people are asking directly the client, so I might bring you back on if that's okay.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Right. Fantastic, man. Thank you so much. Thanks. I'll talk to you soon. Right, there we go. Right, who is next? Sorry. Let's see. Right, now we're bringing on Jeff. Where are you? So we've gotten like somebody who's bottled bourbon, Matt in Arkansas. We've got Brandon who's creating like a kind of big batch tequila brand. And now we're bringing in Jeff. Go. So Jeff, that's him on. So Jeff is more of a new investor. I think it's not so much of the point of bottling yet or anything like that. It's more like entering, there he is.
Hey, how you doing? Cheers.
I'm all right, man. Good to meet you. Meeting Jeff. There you go. Get my pour here too. How you doing? Whereabouts are you?
I'm in Southern California, Orange County, actually. Yeah.
Amazing. Got all the good weather.
Yeah, good weather right now.
Yeah. So Jeff, thanks a lot for joining us.
Absolutely.
First
Thanks
time
for having me.
Yeah, and if you've heard the kind of previous clients that jumped on, they're doing more of their own bottlings. But as I understand, you've just kind of recently, joined Barrel Global. I heard you had a pretty cool visit at Law's Whiskey House in Colorado. Yeah, so can you, I guess, just take us through basically how you kind of got interested in barrel ownership and kind of what the process was and what kind of made you eventually jump in?
Yeah, so never really even knew this was an option, to be honest, as far as an investment and looking at the asset class, to be honest with you. And as I started to find out that this was an option, my wife and I have investments in stocks and IRAs and real estate, and it's not a lot of sexiness to that, right? It just kind of does what it does. And so I started researching. I've always been a bourbon guy, whiskey guy, and started researching a little bit more about this, kind of unique tangible asset class. And it kind of, just started really striking a chord with me. So as I looked a little bit deeper, some of the other companies that I, had inquired through, they were just larger purchases. It didn't feel like a family. It felt like I was investing in a fund, with a minimum, entry, barrier of entry was much higher. You had to buy larger bulk. And, unlike Matt, I don't own a restaurant. I'm retired. This was more like, hey, I like bourbon. And if I can own a barrel and say I own a barrel of bourbon, and get to touch it and taste it and see it and all those things, the barrier of entry wasn't, terrible, a couple $1,000s to get a barrel. I'm not a patient person, and this is a very patient business. If you are in the bourbon business or any spirit business because of the aging process. But yeah, I just came across Barrel Global. I'll be honest, I don't recall how I got introduced to Charles, but once we did meet, we had some great conversations, both on phone, email, text. And I think it was May of this year, we jumped in and bought a barrel at Law's. And what was interesting is when Charles had sent me his inventory at the time, I had just come back from Colorado to visit family and friends, and we had just gone to the Law's distillery. A friend of mine is an Argyle member there, and he took us there, and we had a flight, and it was great. And the atmosphere was great. The product is great. The juice is great. And then I see Law's on your inventory list, and I'm like, well, it's just meant to be. So I was looking originally at a 4-year barrel, a 4-year aged barrel. And then I saw a 2-year, and I kind of like the idea of the 2-year. So we went with the 2-year. I think it was filled in July 12th of 23 is when the barrel was filled. And so it's just a little over 2 years old. But I kind of like the idea of just aging it a little bit longer and giving me the opportunity to kind of investigate and research exit strategies as to what am I going to do with this juice? Am I going to have, 15 to 20 cases of bourbon sitting around my house and give it out to friends, or do I want to take on a project? And being that I'm retired, I love projects. I love looking for new ventures. I am leaning toward creating my own brand, my own label, and bottling it. And my wife, on the other hand, is like, let's just flip it, get another investor to buy it. And I'm like, there's no.
She knows. She knows.
Yeah, that's so fun. What do I want to do that for? So we don't know where we're gonna be, but that's how I got involved. Guys have been great. Barrel Global's been great. I have not met Murray in person, only via email. But I have spoken to Charles. Like I said, we've had great conversations. And so, yeah, now I own three barrels. 2 are at Bardstown with 2 other friends of mine. I got them involved about a month after I bought the first barrel.
Nice.
And they're new age. They're only like 3-4 months old, so they're just going to sit and do what they got to do. We'll go visit. We'll do a tour at about year 2 and check it out. And yeah, and then we got the 1 barrel at Laws.
Well, that's amazing. Well, I mean, that's great to hear, because I mean, that is always what we've tried to kind of create, you know, make it a fun experience, not like cutthroat investments and promising returns, and make it feel like a fund or an investment company. It's always been like, you know, making people feel comfortable. And it's always nice that you might start one way, but you never know what happens when you get comfortable and you're in it.
Right.
You know, again, as you say, you started just to buy a barrel, then you might want to bottle something. It's like a fun, you know, fun how things can change. Can you talk a little bit about your recent tour to Law's Whiskey House? Because you know, we always get great reviews from whoever visits Law's. Like Alan's always great, and you pull the barrels, taste them.
Yeah, we were there in end of August 29th actually, and Murray, you know, if he's on the call, you know, great job setting this VIP tour up. We had 10 guests, myself plus 9 other people that were there. They all just had a blast. It was a very eye-opening experience, you know, meeting Alan, the owner. He actually did the tour, gave us the tour, goes by Al, but we spent a good hour and a half in the rick house where the barrel was stored. He brought the barrel down. It's barrel number 67. And I think I sent some pictures to Charles in a text. You know, we all signed the barrel, took pictures with the barrel, got samples and tasted. And so like I said, it's just over 2 years old. It's currently at about 114.7 proof. They had tested the proof before we got there. But it was just a great overall experience. A little bit of the history behind how Alan got involved with owning his own distillery. After the rick house, we ended up going to the actual whiskey house and did a full-blown VIP tour there, and had flights and all that. But in the rick house, it was really interesting. I believe he has currently around 5,400 barrels stored in this rick house. Yeah. And of those, only 100 are investor barrels. So it's a very small percentage when you look at this. It's roughly 2% of their inventory are people like myself and Matt and anyone else on your call or clients of yours. It's a very small percentage. And just hearing about like how they treat their, and I'm just a 1 barrel guy out of 5,400, but the experience felt like I owned half the brick house. That's how it was. So personal. It wasn't rushed. Asked whatever questions. He let us taste other samples from things they were working on in the lab, and they're finishing bourbon in some different some Cabernet barrels and some honey barrels and various things. One thing I thought was interesting is after talking to Alan, and this didn't bother me one bit when I found out, but he said because of the climate in Colorado, specifically in the elevation, that the sweet spot for their bourbon is 6 to 8 years aged. And so going into this, originally I was at that 4 to 6 year kind of mindset, but that's all changed since meeting Alan, and I'm fine with it. Originally we were like, oh, okay, well, what do we do at year 4? Do we flip it? Do we bottle it? And he said, don't touch it till year 6. 6 to 8 is the sweet spot for their, and mine's a wheated bourbon. And so he brought out a 6.5 year bottle of wheated bourbon, basically my mash bill. And we compared the color, between it, and it was so much darker. The proof was about 130, 132, because the proof is going to go up the more it ages. And it was just great to kind of see that comparison as to what I originally went in thinking. And like you said a minute ago, to your point, things change. Yeah. So we'll sit on this barrel for another 2 years. We had met a couple that was looking at their barrel during their tour with the master distiller, and they were at year 6.5, and they were on the fence as to what to do. Yeah. What direction are you going to go? And they didn't know. And so, yeah, so it's a patience thing, and we'll go back in about a year. we'll get another sample, and we'll just he said, just keep this and just keep the different samples, see the comparisons and color changes and everything. And so, yeah, it was great. It was 100%. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, that's great to hear. We're very that's kind of my job. So we're very careful about our partner distilleries. Like they're, as you said, they're not selling tons of whiskey for investment because we want it to have a bit of rarity and be a bit, not be like a massive contract distiller distilling millions of barrels a year. So we do stick to distilleries that are really building their own brand, great people, treat our customers amazingly. And yeah, that's fantastic. I guess before we close off, what would be some advice that you would give to like a first time buyer considering their first barrel?
Yeah, I would go into this, for me, this isn't a home run. For me, this is just a nice little single, double, whatever you want to call it from an investment standpoint. Everyone's going to have different reasons. Like Matt owns a restaurant and wanted to bring his product to his restaurant and in his community. That's not where I'm at. So you just got to ask yourself what's your why behind wanting to do this. Do you just want to own a 53-gallon barrel of bourbon and just have 12, 15, 20 cases laying around and just have fun with your friends? Yeah, go for it, do it. I mean, it's a couple $1,000 and it is what it is. So I'm interested in the project. I'm interested in circling back in a couple years, hopefully building my inventory of more barrels, could buy 2-3 a year, and either flip some of them, but I'm interested in creating a label. I'm a veteran. I'm a retired law enforcement, and I want to give back to that. Everything I've ever done, I've got a real estate business I've run for 22 years, work with past clients, and I have a giving back program to first responders and veterans, and I've given back over 150,000 over my career, and I want to do that with this. I belong to a private club here locally. I've already teed it up with them as to what I'm doing, and they're like, hey, let's have a members only tasting night where you promote your product and bring it to the table and share it with the members, and maybe they buy a bottle from you. We don't care. It's a private club. It's a members only club. And so I don't know what's going to happen in 4 years. A lot can change, but right now I'm just enjoying the journey, having fun and drinking the juice.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, there's nowhere. It can't go anywhere bad.
There's no downside.
That's good to see though, because I think like it's very good in this call to see like someone like Matt. Like if you choose not to bottle your cask, it would go to someone like Matt. It's good having a great like variety of clients that want to do different things because you never know where someone's going to match up or line up. Right. So it's, no, that's awesome.
I can tell you with Barrel Global, for me anyway, it's like I said, it's not that like large corporate feel like you got to invest $100,000 to even have a conversation or whatever. To me, it's just more family oriented and just, a very personal touch connection. I don't know that I would have gotten that same personal touch with a larger, you need $100,000 or $200,000 or 50 barrels, or I wouldn't have had the same experience. I don't think.
Yeah, no, that's always been since day one. I was like, someone wants a barrel, they get a barrel. Someone wants 100 barrels, they can have that. But it's like, we don't want to turn anybody away. It's supposed to be a fun experience, not a cutthroat forcing down your throat, something,
Yep.
Jeff, man, great to meet you.
Hey, you too.
It's been awesome. I'm really glad you're having a good experience, and thanks a lot for coming on and sharing. I'm sure there's a lot of people on here that get a lot from this, that are thinking about jumping in. And again, if you're around at the end, I might bring you in for another question or two. But yeah, man, thanks so much, and I'm glad you're enjoying it. And
thank you. Thanks for having me.
Talk to you soon.
You too.
Right. Great. That's been fantastic so far. Had some really interesting stories. So we're going on to our last one now. It's Mike. I actually met Mike down in Tequila. We went down together. Let me get you on here, Mike. So hopefully everybody's, depending on where you are in your journey, whether you're in with us, you're thinking of bottling, you're about to join, hopefully you've learned something. Mike, there he is.
How's everything going?
Great. Mike is a collector of tractors, of some fantastic tractors.
I just got one. Yeah, I just had one delivered back yesterday from a show down in Albany, Minnesota. It's been down there for 2 years, and it's nice to have it home. So taking it up, exercising it a little bit today, but
Nice. I
it's
feel like it's been a long time since Mexico, but it's only been like a month.
that was such an awesome experience. I mean,
Yeah, take us through it. Take us through it. I guess we haven't chatted since. So how did you enjoy it all?
oh my gosh, to be introduced to the family of the distillery that is producing such an amazing product it was wonderful. First time I'd been to Guadalajara. I'd been to most of the other touristy places in Mexico, but that was the first time to the highlands of Mexico. And Guadalajara is a beautiful city. The coordination you guys made to get us out to the distillery and the presentation that was there, it was, and I couldn't have asked for a better experience. And then to be united with my 4 barrels of tequila was just, it's indescribable. It was just so much fun. The people were so great. And if anybody is thinking about doing that in the future, just hit the yes button, because it's well worth the time, and you'll really enjoy. Great memories.
Yeah. No, that was a fantastic trip, honestly. When we were driving up and the weather was terrible, and then it just sun shone, mariachis came out, and it just turned out fantastic.
That was, the mariachis that was great. And the horse riding as well. It was a complete, wonderful experience.
Yeah. And I guess my next question would be, because I know you kind of came in, I think, you had a few barrels, and I guess during the trip, you kind of were thinking about changing your vision, like maybe doing a brand. So can you take us through kind of what you initially planned and how you were looking at tequila, kind of where it's landed now?
Oh, certainly. I had bought, and as a matter of fact, I was looking at one of my barrels. I'd bought a barrel through a different company. And that was about 4 years ago. And I was looking at, kind of backing up a little bit. I'm in business with a good buddy of mine down in Texas. I lived in Texas for 24 years, and he found a fantastic location, and we established a high-end cocktail lounge. Mm-hmm. And prior to that, he had a tequila bar / restaurant, and got me involved with high-end tequilas and all this other kind of stuff. So that's always in the back of my head,
Mike, I don't know if you've frozen just for me or for everybody.
That I entertained.
Sorry, Mike, I think you froze there for a bit. You were at the point where you mentioned that you started a high-end cocktail bar with your friend. I think you froze a little.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm up in North Dakota, so everything's a little slower up here.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when I was down at El Mexicano that was truly the first time that I entertained starting my own brand. My business partner has a couple other business partners, and and I kind of ran this by him. He said, Mike, within about a month, we could have your branded tequila in about 50 bars and restaurants in and around the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So that really got the wheels turning. And then as we were down there, Charles mentioned that there were a couple of barrels, unique barrels that were becoming available. And as I called him about 3 or 4 days after the event to see if there's any still around, he said, yeah, they're going quick, so you better get on them. So I pounced on the remaining six barrels of tequila.
So I guess now you're looking to do a more kind of getting some to añejo stage, getting some like bottle that's blanco, holding on to some. What's your kind of plan now?
That's correct. I want to kind of what I'm looking at. The first barrels that I had were
There you go. You froze again. No. South Dakota. Mike, we lost you again. You said the first barrels that you had and you stopped.
okay. The first barrels, the plan is to age them to extra añejo status. So that will be 3 years. They're now approximately 10 months down the road, so they'll be añejo come November. But my idea is developing a brand and basically being able to come out with the full spectrum of Blanco, Reposado, Añejo, and Extra Añejo. So I have a little bit of time to, in fact, I need to get in touch with Murray and work on bottling and labeling and such like that. I have some pretty good ideas, and then also I need to talk to Juan regarding, I don't like paying other people to do things that I can do. So if I can be my own middleman, I would love to do that, get my import license and such like this. So I need to look into the ins and outs and how difficult that is. I think Texas is another one of those unique states that the alcohol and the TABC is kind of challenging to work with. So I have to look at the intricacies of that as well.
Damn, you're going into full brand owner importing.
Why not? Go big or go home. I'm going to be retiring from my current vocation here in about, I don't know, 3.5 years, something like that. So I need to have something to do.
There you go. You'll have a best-selling tequila brand by the time you stop flying.
I'm hoping.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. And I guess if you could recommend, if someone wanted to start their tequila portfolio today, what would you think is like the smartest first step, and what would you recommend to them?
Oh my God. I just, as soon as Charles said that there was tequila available, I was on it. And because I am such, I enjoy it. It's such a delightful beverage. The offerings that we had down in El Mexicana when we had the tasting was truly eye-opening. What happened now?
We can hear you, but we can't see you now.
Okay, you don't need to see me anyway. I'm ugly, but
there you go.
Anyway, to see the different flavor profiles, even from the Blanco, which usually is a little. As a matter of fact, my last drop of Blanco was just used. That's
There you go. Tequila summer bottle. Thought you would have kept that. You cracked right into that, didn't you? Is that margarita?
Dude, I bought a bottle of Reposado down there, and oh my God, that stuff it's unbelievable. And that's only seriously, I believe it's 4-month-old Reposado.
Yeah, remember Leon was telling us that he likes the agave to stay with the Reposado, right?
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. When I start, another thing that we have to look at, the roasted agave that we had as a side, I need to figure out how to import that, because I can see that being truly the next big thing in tequila. My tequila sensei, and he is a huge tequila collector in the Las Vegas area. He knows all these people. He's actually familiar with El Mexicano Distillery, and he said those individuals are top notch. They said they've been doing it 3 generations. They produce an unbelievable product. But when we're kids, we go, not that great tequila, and it's salt and lime because you have to get it down your gut somehow. He introduced me to a citrus, either navel orange or even pineapple, with cinnamon on top of it as a side. But the roasted agave that we have, I truly think that is the next big thing in tequila, because it is tequila.
Yeah.
And it adds so much. The flavor is amazing. It's almost like candy.
Yeah, if you make that into a snack, and you use it in some way, that'd be a good one.
Oh yeah. Seriously, I need to figure out how to package this so that we can get it across the border. So Juan, start looking at that.
Juan's here messaging, being like, we can already get into Texas. We already have a roadmap. We can do this.
Okay, set me up then. Set me up.
No, man. I mean, if ever we could choose an exact reaction we want from taking someone on a tour, it's you. I mean, you went in like positive, and you came out with your own brand, your retirement plan, a few more barrels.
Seriously, yeah. It was the experience of going to the distillery, meeting the individuals involved, and just seeing the passion that they had for their craft. They really produced just a very high quality product.
Yeah, Leon with his cowboy hat and his badass jacket. That got things over the line. Damn, Mike. Well, thanks so much for joining, man. Great to see you again. Fantastic to hear like what you're up to. I can't wait to see the branding and the bottles and everything coming out. And then we'll definitely be seeing you. We'll definitely be heading back down to Tequila at some point together. That's definitely going to happen.
I look forward to that. All right, you take care. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and thanks a lot. And I'll bring you in if there's any questions. If you're still on, I'll bring you in. Thanks a lot, Mike.
All right.
Thanks, man. Right. So here we are at the end of our presentation. So coming into Q&A now. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So I guess a small recap. We got Matt on, who has had a very great success story with his own single barrel of bourbon going into and being the first one going into Arkansas. We had Brandon, who's working on a kind of bigger batch tequila brand in Michigan to bring people to Great Lakes and see his brand, putting a lot into e-commerce there, and wanting to expand his portfolio. Jeff has recently joined us, came in May, enjoying the experience, looking at kind of what he wants to get done and kind of where he wants to go. And nothing's kind of set in stone, and he's just enjoying the journey. And obviously, we just brought in Mike, who's just had a fantastic time in tequila, doubled down, bought more barrels, is just super excited about starting his own brand now. And, just really loved this. That was our first retreat in tequila for our clients. So that's just great to hear that it went so well. So right now we're going to jump into a few questions that people have sent in before. And if you want to ask any more questions before we shut up, just send them here in the chat and I will get to them after these. So we're looking here at James from Michigan is looking at bottling costs. And the next question as well is bottling rules and options from John and Juros and Omaha. So tackling both those questions, bottling costs is usually around, give or take $12 per bottle. That's like, the bottling costs, the dry goods, the kind of service, everything, the glass itself, the top, etc. So that will run you around like $3,000 approximately per cask, which is around 250 bottles. Beyond that, then it depends where it's going. In terms of bottling options, we give you a lot of different types of glass to choose from, tops to choose from, bells and whistles. You get to choose how far or how low you go. It could be something just super accessible, easy, like a normal bottle. Like something like this. You can have gold wax, you can have boxes. That just obviously adds to the price. But at your base point, it's around $12 per bottle. And that's what Murray looks after. So as soon as you show interest, you want to bottle your cask, send you over to Murray, and he takes you through the entire process from bottling options to COLA approval, licenses you need, how to get it to your state. He gives you everything in a very easy to understand way. Paul Emmons from Buffalo, New York, is asked on the changing 2025 barrel market pricing and future forecasting. We still work with small up-and-coming craft distillers. We've kept our pricing the same, and we still see we're selling a lot of aged barrels. We're developing our business in a lot of different ways, as I mentioned at the start of the call, and we still think, barrel ownership and the whole experience of owning a barrel should stay where it is. Prices have changed and dropped slightly, but not anything drastic or anything that needs to be worried about. And within the next 12 to 18 months, the market will, based on talks and everything that's happening in the industry, it will get back to normal, balance out, and continue as is. We'll just see a lot of the big, massive contract distillers shutting down, like we have seen, and the craft distillers that really really build their own brands and have a lot of love, craft, and really push their brands will continue to strive and even grow further when a lot of these massive contract distillation sites shut down. Jay Gibson from Beaufort, South Carolina wants to know about exit strategies. So we did mention a lot here, as you've seen, a lot of people do bottle their casks, and we do supply a lot of businesses with casks. So if someone's buying, if someone's buying new fill barrels, and sorry, I lost my train of thought. Exit strategies. So if someone here is buying like a lot of aged barrels to bottle and you've bought new fill barrels, that is an exit strategy for down the line. As I mentioned, Barrel Global is also developing our own brands with some big partnerships. And then we work with a lot of, as I said, venues, hospitality groups, different distributors in different states, and are actively developing and growing our aged barrel bottlings with different liquor stores as well across different states. And that is exit strategies that we're developing. So down the line, you have the options to do this and go through our entire database of people that are bottling their barrels, and we take the aged barrels, as it were. So Drew Davis from Atlanta, general overview of Barrel Global business model and wholesale versus retailer focus. So I mean, I don't want to go too deep into this. I think we've talked a little bit about Barrel Global, and I know people have been on for like an hour. But, we sell full barrels to individuals. We work with a lot of great distilleries across the US and in Mexico. We buy the barrels in bulk, and we allow people to buy them new fill or aged barrels if they're looking to bottle right away, or if they're looking to buy them at a cheaper price, past that time, and have that patience before they end up bottling or reselling their barrels. And we do assist people that bottle to get them to whatever state they're in, and we work with a lot of partner distributors. But beyond that point, it's up to the client on how they're going to sell it. We do, again, sell to retailers, we sell to distributors. We can help facilitate all that, and we have a marketing agency that can assist with e-commerce solutions to get it to the end client. But usually it's quite helpful if the client has an idea of how you want to sell your brand when you're going in to make your own brand. Same way Matt Fuller had his plan. Brandon's got his plan for his tequila, and Mike's looking at the avenues. We can help for the entire process, but usually it helps a lot more if you have your own sales plan in mind for building your own brand. Moving on to Mark Wilson. How can we leverage a smaller portfolio into profitability without spending tons of money on licensing and regulatory fees? I'm in Tennessee, by the way. Well, I don't know if you're talking about casks or bottles here. I'm assuming you're mentioning licensing and regulatory fees because you want to bottle it. In my opinion, again, going back to what Matt has done, he said, as he mentioned, the financials can make a lot of sense, and our partners in different distribution partners in different states, we managed to get the distribution fees very low because they're not doing work of selling the brand. So they're just working as a pass-through distributor. Therefore, the distribution in the 3-tier system doesn't kind of hit you as hard. So there is a lot of potential to become profitable and sell your own bottles. Again, you just need to make your own brand plan, and based on your network or what you want to do or who you're going to target. There's we can help with all the branding, as I said, the distribution, the pass-through. We're like a one-stop shop is what Barrel Global does, and it's very easy to resell your barrel. We have tons of people that are constantly looking for aged barrels, so we help a lot of our clients about new make, exit, and sell their barrel without having to bottle it. So the end for you doesn't necessarily need to be bottling. It can be reselling your barrel, making a profit, and we work on selling this barrel to someone who wants to bottle it. So yeah, I mean, hopefully that answers your question. But again, the fees I feel with licensing and pass-through and distribution aren't as high with us because we have these partners that charge the minimum because we're getting it passed through and they don't have to actually sell it. Moving on, Keith Andrews from Phoenix, Arizona. How much per barrel? Is there a cap on the number of barrels I can purchase, and can I transport them across state line? So per barrel, we're around for new fill, it's like $2,200 to $2,500. It gets up there to $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, depending on the age of your barrels. If you want to buy an aged one, there's no cap to the number of barrels that you can buy. Feel free. The minimum, you can buy as little as one. We want to allow everybody to access this. And we don't want to have hard minimums. So you can buy as little as one barrel, but you can buy as many as you want. Can I transport these barrels across state line? Yeah, it depends where they're going. They need to end up at a bonded warehouse, obviously, to continue to be named bourbon. You can't just take them to your house or do something. I mean, you could, but it can no longer be called bourbon, and we don't really do that. But you can. Your barrels can be transported to be bottled in different facilities in different states, or they're bottled and then the bottles are transported to wherever they need to go. Yeah, I'm sorry I'm like rattling through these, but I feel everybody's been on for a while, so I'm trying to get through the questions. So Michael from his house, he wants to know the hard facts about the average appreciation of different barrel types from customers themselves. Who would I bring on for that? Well, I mean, I think based on who we've spoken to and the prices that I've told you, I guess your account manager can tell you the prices. And I don't think from many of the clients we had come on have resold their barrels, so they wouldn't maybe talking that. We've had a lot of people that are bottling, a lot of people that have aged stuff that they want to bottle, and people that have came in. But we do have the prices, as I mentioned. We start at 22, 2,500, depending on how many new fill barrels you buy, and we get up to like 6-7 grand, depending on the age stuff. But again, as Mark mentioned, should you choose to bottle your brand, it does make a lot of sense financially and can to build a brand, so it's not priced out of the market. Jeff Muttle from Nashville, I'm interested to hear from someone who has actually bottled a barrel, how the process was like from start to finish. Jeff, hopefully you were on with Matt, who ran us through the entire process of how that worked, and Brandon, so hopefully that answers your question. Joel asked, I'm most interested to hear the conversation about the sales process. We're approaching 10 barrels with no real strategy at this point. Just enjoy bourbon and potential investment diversification. So, I mean, as we mentioned, if you are ready and your barrels are at a point where they're ready to be sold and you want to resell them, you just reach out to your account manager, and then we will add them to our list of aged barrels that we're trying to sell and that we're working on selling. We'll add them to our marketplace and then to, you know, our clients that we know are looking for aged barrels, which is, you know, substantial most of the time. So that should give you a pretty clear idea quickly how to sell your barrels if that's what you're looking to do. Brad Woods is interested in importing bottles from Scotland, personal, private label versus labeled for resale. But we don't, if you're bottling a cask with us in Scotland, we can help you with the import. We don't typically just import bottles, as it were. That's not really our business model. If you do want a barrel with us, whether that's Annandale or a different barrel, we can help you bottle that and help you kind of connect you to an importer that can import that, because we do have a import partner that imports into the US, and that's who we use from Mexico with tequila as well. Paul Shands, I'd like to know how to get involved with on-site tour events. So as I mentioned, we're about to launch our tourism arm. I think we're doing a soft launch next month, and then that'll be fully operational starting next year. So you'll be able to see all the different options of tours that we have, the kind of super VIP to more regular to 2-3 day experiences. There'll be a lot of different options for people to experience some different tours in different parts of Kentucky that you wouldn't really get from a normal tour guide or a normal tour company. And then the last question from Jason Possible, you ever deal with rum? I don't know. I mean, I thought about it, but it's not, I don't know. I feel for the time being, we have our hands filled with tequila and bourbon, and we're looking to enter more whiskey categories and more kind of agave categories. So rum should come down the line, but I'm not exactly sure when. So we'll need to wait and see on that one. So that's all the questions sent in from people. I'm trying to find, I feel there's like a part here. There we go, Q&A. So there's one more question here from Scott. If I get a barrel of tequila, how hard is it to bring the bottled product to the US? It would be for personal use anyway. Not hard at all. We do this constantly. You know, we're doing it for Brandon that came on. We'll be doing it for Mike. We import some of our own tequila into the US. So we have a pretty well-oiled machine. It takes a few months, you know, from start to finish, and we help you with that entire process. And it's not complicated at all. I'll just get in touch with your account manager. They'll connect you to the right person of our team, and they can take you through that. Right. I think I did a good job getting through those. Guys, thanks so much for staying on with us. It's been well over an hour, so I'm really happy for your patience. Hopefully you learned something. We brought on we tried to kind of choose our most diverse type of customers to tell you their stories and see that they had a, you know, pretty great experience with us, even though they're all at different parts of their journey with Barrel Global and barrel ownership. So yeah, that's it from us. If you are interested in buying a barrel, get in touch. Go to barrelglobal.com. You know, fill in the form. We'll get in touch with you. You'll be attended by Charles, who's our awesome sales director, Juan as well. And again, we're just here to make barrel ownership an amazing experience for everybody, whether it's 1 barrel, 100 barrels, you're building your brand or not. And yeah, whoever's with us, we're really happy to have you with us. on this journey and part of the Barrel Global family. And whoever wants to join or wants to ask more questions, get in touch. Do apologize if we didn't cover something that you wanted to know on this webinar, but we're always here. barrelglobal.com. Ask any questions you want. And yeah, we're excited to see you join us on your own adventure in barrel ownership. Have a great evening, great day, everybody, and thanks for joining.